Who are we talking to?
Ourselves.
Here we are with Fandom Forensics number 3, Harry Potter and the Year Without a Voldemort.
Also known as the Prisoner of Azkaban.
Yes.
Had to make the joke.
Yep.
Because it is officially the Christmas season.
It's also the only book that Voldemort is not even in it.
Fair enough.
So let's get straight on into the questions. Okay?
Alright.
To address the big one.
Hold on, just a reminder to everybody, you cannot use knowledge gained in a later book to answer or justify anything we discuss.
So we can only use books 1, 2, and 3 to talk about any other questions that Colin's going to pose at us.
Which, Colin, you realized that there were some things that we couldn't talk about this episode.
Yes, so things that come up in the next book that we would initially want to bring up for this one, we can't. Such as Finite Incantato, the spell to find out what the last spell you cast was. Veritaserum, literally truth-telling serum. It would be very, very useful in this story, but it wasn't written yet, so can't use it. And I forgot what I wrote the third thing was, but if it comes up again, I'm sure.
Wasn't it the pensieve?
Yep, pensieves. So you can't see memories.
Now I have a counter question about the Veritaserum. So the Veritaserum is the Wizarding World's version of Truth Serum, which we don't learn about until the next book.
Yes.
However, sodium pentachloride is the Muggle version of Truth Serum. Why couldn't we use that?
Because the Wizarding World had to be extra, that's why.
For the
Same reason they all wear glasses even though they can fix eyesight.
Same reason why there's not a single wizard who uses a gun, despite the fact that Vernon Dursley has a full-on shotgun aimed at Hagrid in the very first book. Granted, it gets bent and is useless afterwards.
However,
but
I feel like that's more of a thing about the UK having stricter gun laws.
That is true, but again, wizards just had to be extra, just like, they used to need quills and paper, but yet notebooks exist.
And Snape's constant need to flounce.
Well, that's just because it's Alan Rickman and he just needs to be
and he did it so well.
Yes.
Alright, to the questions.
So first, let's address the rat in the cupboard. Why was Ron allowed to have a pet rat? It's not on the list of approved animals.
So for those of you that don't know, Hogwarts students are only allowed 3 animals at the school. They're either an owl, a cat, or a toad.
Very common wizard and witch pets.
However, Ron and his family had a rat called Scabbers. It's been in their family for, like Colin
12
said,
years.
For 12 years. Now, the common lifespan of a rat is 2.
But it was Percy's rat.
Yes. Actually, I take that back. Depending on the species of rat, it can be longer, but normally for a common house rat, it's 2 to 3 years old.
Common garden rat.
Well, I'm going to go with probably when Percy first brought said rat to school, probably was along the lines of something like, I'm poor. I can't afford a cat.
Well, we also don't...
I'm poor.
Well, we also don't really know what the guidelines for the animal companions were during Percy's time. So maybe they did have more exceptions for animal companions. So it's just like rat could have been on the list, but then for whatever reason they just decided to take it off.
Or could we entertain the fact that maybe the Weasley boys have been sneaking this pet onto campus the whole time? I mean, that is very not on brand for Percy. Percy is the rule follower. But, I mean, it's highly plausible that, like, Fred or George snuck it into his luggage. It's highly plausible that they've just been sneaking this rat to school every year. And the school is just like, you know what? Compared to some of the things other people are sneaking in here, a rat's not going to be the end-all, be-all. And, maybe McGonagall is using the rat to get her exercise in. I don't know. We know some of the cats chase the rat. That is a common thing that we see in the books.
Here are the students with pets that we know of.
Okay.
As of year 3.
Okay.
We know that Millicent Bulstrode has a cat. Meow. Because that was the cat that turned Hermione into a cat girl.
A cat woman.
Didn't expect to read that in Chamber of Secrets.
Yes.
Look at my face. Look at your tail.
Wait till you see it. It's awful.
Ron with a rat, which I don't think I need to remind people, are the food of 2 out of the 3 approved animals.
So maybe once again, maybe they snuck it in under the guise that they were feeding one of the other animals. I'm going with they snuck it in.
Harry has Hedwig.
Ooh.
The Weasley family has they have Pidgewiggin.
Whom? Actually, before Pidgewiggin, because I don't think we've met Pidgewiggin yet.
No.
This is Errol. We are in the Errol years.
Yeah, well, either way, the Weasley family has their own personal owl.
Bloody Bird's a menace.
He keeps on flying into windows.
And cereal bowls. And chips.
I think the bird is...
And walls.
I think the bird needs to be put out to pasture because it clearly can't see anything anymore.
I mean, to be fair, owls don't have the best eyesight.
What, I mean...
What eye doctor does the owl go to see?
A magical veterinarian.
Okay, so who else has a pet?
Neville with a toad. The only person with a toad.
Trevor. Yeah.
And as of year 3, Hermione gets a pet cat. Because...
she needs a pet.
I'm not sure if she needs a pet, considering the amount of work she's piled onto herself this semester.
The pet probably was a gift from her parents to give her a sense of normalcy.
Also, with the amount of classes that she's taking, a cat is actually very easy to take care of. You just gotta feed it, make sure it has water, clean out its litter box, and that's essentially about it.
You don't own a cat. A cat owns you.
And Crookshanks definitely rules the roost in terms of the Granger household.
Yes. So I think that the cat was probably gifted to her by her parents as like a gift to make her feel more normal, because she is a Muggle born. That is something that is discussed a lot. She does feel out of place a lot of the time because she doesn't make friends easily, and she's insanely smart, and she tries to be the best, but it's hard for her to make friends. Case in point, the only 2 people we ever see her hanging out with are Harry and Ron.
At least for now.
At least for now. But still, girl needs more friends.
But going back to the original topic, though, I do think that rats were probably on the list of approved pets, but then for some reason were taken off. Probably
too many students' pets got eaten by other students' pets.
Probably. I mean, if one...
Also raises the question, what does the wizarding world have against dogs?
Well, didn't you say in one episode that, like, cats are always associated with witches?
Yes, they're associated with witches, but I'm just, you got wizards there too. Can't they have a dog?
Well, the only real mythical dog that are, like, the black dog of war.
Excuse me. But what does Sirius turn himself into?
A mangy black dog.
A mangy black dog.
But again...
And we have the line in the movie that he says, on more than one occasion, James Potter suggested I make the transition permanent. Clearly, James Potter wanted a dog.
Yeah,
just going to point this out, J.K. Rowling, what are we going to name the guy who turns into a black dog?
Sirius Black. What are we going to turn the guy who turns into a werewolf?
His name is Moon.
Remus Lupin.
His name is Moon.
And it's worse. It's worse than even that.
It's Werewolf McWerewolf.
It's worse than even that, because his mother's maiden name is Howl.
Werewolf Howl McWerewolf.
He was doomed from the moment he was born.
I mean, that is
Okay, I am currently writing a magical creature book, and I am not the greatest at names, but at least I am not that bad.
No, but then at the same time, you're writing about creatures that their names have kind of already been established.
Well, some of them are original, but yeah, for the most part, though, they're not that bad.
Part of me knows the whole canon of, Fenrir turned Remus to get at his father for anti-werewolf stuff. But there has to be like a little tiny bit where Greyback's like, this will be the funniest joke in the entire world.
I mean, that raises the question: when Fenrir Greyback bit Lupin, did he know that his name was Remus Lupin? He obviously knew his last name. He obviously knew his last name, but did he know his first name? Because if he did, then you're right. He probably was sitting at home laughing. That is probably what got him through the years without Voldemort, is him sitting there laughing at his own joke. But if he didn't, and then he finds out about it later, he's probably like, wow. Cool.
Anyway.
Wow.
Wildly off tangent.
But why the rat? I'm going to go with, my theory is that the Weasley boys have been sneaking it in.
Alright, next question.
Okay, because I was going to say in regards to that, if we are to say that the teachers never noticed, that's a point on negligence right there.
However, to that point, we can't say that the teachers didn't notice, because back in book 2, when we have our transfiguration lesson of turning animals into water goblets,
Ron turned his rat into a goblet.
His rat, who's actually a person,
into a goblet.
Which raises the question of, did the spell not work because it's not really an animal, or did the spell not work because his wand is broken?
Also, Minerva helped Ron turn his rat back into a rat when it got stuck in this weird rat goblet
thing.
But how much funnier would it have been if she's working to undo the transfiguration magic and accidentally undoes the animagus magic, and suddenly there is just Peter Pettigrew right on one of the desks, and she has to ponder, like, how is he here?
What did I do?
It was like, he's alive! He's alive! He's alive.
The whole
He's
time.
alive!
The whole time?
Yeah.
Okay, next question.
Yes.
Anyway, why is Hermione such a killjoy in year 3?
Because she is a 14-year-old girl.
So the reason for this question,
know-it-all.
She wants Harry to give up the Marauders map to the professors, getting his firebolt taken away, and a bunch of other stuff, which is very out of character for at this point, considering her rap sheet, which I will list off now.
The rap sheet of Hermione Granger, year 3.
First year, set a teacher on fire.
Technically, it was just his robes. He was fine.
Snuck out past curfew multiple times.
You know, it's a magical school. It's got safety barriers. Why is there a curfew?
Defaced a library book by tearing out the page with the info of the basilisk on it.
Allegedly! Allegedly! We have no proof that she did it. Allegedly!
Brewed the Polyjuice potion, which is most likely a controlled substance, breaking several school rules and probably laws in the process.
Can't really deny that one.
But let's focus on that. That is a very difficult potion, and she did it beautifully, not just once, but multiple times. That shows pure genius for a witch. I will be defending her in all these.
Yes, because if a middle schooler...
Okay. Here's the question. If the potion is so easy that a middle schooler can replicate it, why is it in the restricted section?
Because of the implications of the potion.
I'm saying that...
Identity theft is not a joke.
You can be wandering around the school as one of your professors, basically like, free homework for the rest of the year. And then the real professor basically like, what has happened?
Okay, next crime. Allegedly.
This one. She's actively breaking time in the entire book.
Okay. I'm going to jump to a different fandom here real quick. Doctor Who. Time is not linear. Time is not one thing and another and another. Time is a big ball of wibbly-wobbly, timey-wimey mess. Okay?
I mean, if we also want to break into another fandom here, Avengers Endgame. Steve broke time to put the stones back.
And then he broke it again to go hook up with his girlfriend.
Which, I mean, he kind of deserves it after all he's been through.
That is a topic for a different day. Right now, we are defending Hermione.
Anyway, she is a chaos gremlin.
Yes.
Yes. But
she's a lawful chaos gremlin.
Trying to act like she always follows the rules.
She is a lawful chaos gremlin.
She's a 14-year-old know-it-all smarty pants.
So also, the things that she's doing that you're like, why is she trying to be such a stickler for this? She's trying to save Harry's life. Remember, the girl's only got 2 friends. And if she loses one of them, she's down to 1. And we haven't even gotten to the implications of which one she'd be stuck with. But yeah, she can't lose Harry because then she's stuck with Ron.
Let's just go over the fact
of
what Harry's managed to survive the past few years.
But you know what Harry couldn't do without Hermione? I will list now, without a list. Fix his glasses. Open a lock. Remember to do his homework.
Do magic.
Yeah, he wouldn't be able to do anything without Hermione. And Hermione only has 2 friends. She has to keep them alive.
For the record, Harry does not cast a single spell in the first book.
And now we're all going to sit here quietly and think about that.
Well, doesn't do it in the movie either.
Yeah, he does. He has to, doesn't he?
Yes.
It's implied, but never shown.
We see him attempting the very beginning of
Wingardium
Leviosa.
But we never see his success.
No, because Seamus is a firebomb.
Yep. Also, it's really funny that in the series that Seamus tends to blow stuff up, and he's the only Irish one in the group.
If anyone cares to notice, my eyebrows have completely grown back.
Meanwhile, he's got a bald spot. But anyway, kind of random topic, but it's just like, in the movies, you know, it's like, didn't anyone else get the impression that Harry was supposed to end up with Hermione?
Yes, but that's a topic for another day.
Yes.
We will be going over that probably.
I am maintaining that the reason that Hermione is doing why she's trying to act so morally superior here is because she's trying to save her friend's life. Because let's look at the track record here. Year 1, he almost gets killed by Voldemort. Year 2, he almost gets killed by a giant snake and by Voldemort. So year 3, she's probably like, okay, I'm just going to tell him to get rid of everything that's dangerous for him, and then nothing can ever go wrong. And yes, the plan backfires.
Immensely.
But still.
I'm sorry, after 3 years of this, I'd start to wonder if
I'd be looking for a new friend.
If I were a student at Hogwarts and I had found out that Harry had gotten into another crazy adventure and nearly gotten eaten by a werewolf and then nearly had his soul eaten by demons, Dementors, they're soul-sucking demons.
Shadowy creatures.
I would just gone, is he even mortal?
I would be wondering the following questions. Number 1, is he mortal?
Can he die?
Number 2, can he die? Number 3, who cursed him as a baby? Clearly he got cursed as a baby.
Well,
no one's that unlucky.
I mean, we already knew this.
Alright, but I'm going to say that she's doing it because she's trying to save her one of 2 friends.
Okay.
I'm just saying that she's just trying to be a know-it-all.
Also,
whatever.
Teenage girls are an enigma.
If Hermione
I would argue that grown women are also an enigma.
Women are an enigma wrapped in a mystery. Teenagers haven't gotten their mystery wrapping yet.
If Hermione was really that worried about Sirius Black killing Harry, why didn't she use her time traveling to catch him in the act? And I know she's smart enough to come with that idea of her own. Here's the plan. We know that Sirius Black scratches up the common room. Now,
We assume.
we cannot stop him from scratching up the room because that will create paradox. So instead, all she has to do is say, hey, Harry, can I borrow your little invisibility cloak? Take the invisibility cloak, go back in time, and wait, watch him scratch up the entrance to the common room, and then follow him to wherever he's hiding, and then report that to Dumbledore.
She's also taking, 3 times the recommended level of classes. She's a little busy. When do you think she's finding time to do all this time travel?
She's making the time! She's time traveling!
She has to sleep at some point!
This is what happens when you introduce time
but
travel.
then, that brings you to the age-old question of, well, if you know that this is going to happen, why don't you just go back in time and stop Voldemort from killing Harry's parents? Why don't you just stop all this from ever happening to begin with?
I mean, to quote Bruce Banner, just like, time travel doesn't work that way. You can't change your new future by changing the past.
Yeah.
But my thing isn't changing the past. It is finding knowledge from the past.
But
it would be changing the past.
Present.
It would be changing the past because if he got caught, she wouldn't have had to come up with a thing to go back. So it does change the past if he gets caught.
Also, so we said that he's the one that scratches up the common room allegedly in animagus form, right?
Mm-hmm.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but people that are in animagus form, they have the ability of whatever animal they transformed into.
Yep.
So even if Hermione is hiding underneath the invisibility cloak, he can still smell her.
However, if she's in the whole school smells like people though.
But it's just like
that's a very hard sell on that one though.
But it's just like if there's a and also hearing, he can hear her breathing.
Yeah, that one was one of the issues they always have with the invisibility cloak. They forgot to stop breathing.
Also, there's this little problem they have every time with we don't know what happened. This school is full of portraits that can see and hear everything. You think they don't know everything that goes down in these halls?
They have to sleep sometime.
Also,
do they?
They do, because we see them sleeping in the movies.
Also, correct me if I'm wrong, but not all the portraits can talk.
The majority of them can.
But not all the portraits can talk. So it's just like,
oh no, we'll have to teach the portrait.
I mean, we know it's Sirius Black because the portrait of the fat lady freaks out. And
yeah.
By the way, shout out to Dawn French who played the fat lady in this film. She did a wonderful job.
Although it was a bit weird for the fat lady to be played by a completely different person.
Yes, but Dawn French is such a good comedian that she really did a great job.
And I don't think we see the fat lady after this movie.
We don't, because she never goes back to work. She never goes back. She won't go back to doing it. Also, shout out if you're looking for a family-friendly show that's more geared towards parents and the kids really won't understand most of it. Dawn French is in a wonderful show on the BBC called The Vicar of Dibley. It's very, very funny.
Also, just straight out shout out to Gary Oldman, who played Sirius Black.
Yep.
He plays crazy people so well.
He does. Crazy and villains. That's like his.
Well, not just
that's his hat trick.
Not just crazy and villains, but he is very diverse because he played Commissioner Gordon in Christopher Nolan's Batman movies.
He's also played Dracula.
Yeah, well, let's not talk about that version of Dracula.
His Dracula.
But he was also the crazy dude in The Fifth Element too.
That too.
Okay, so we're moving on to the next question?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. So Hagrid gets sent to go get Harry, because the Potters are dead. Though how he knows the Potters are dead...
Dumbledore knows.
Yeah.
But how did Dumbledore know the Potters were dead in time enough to say, hey, go get Harry, and not, Voldemort found the Potters. We should rush and make sure they don't die.
Because
they were betrayed by someone.
I
who
can't.
trusted.
Oh, wait. I'm trying to remember. Do we know? Because we know from a later book who was the first on the scene.
We can't say it.
We can't say it because it's not a.
But
the reason he knows is because of who was first on the scene, but we cannot say that. So, without using that knowledge, how does he know? I don't know. How does Santa know anything?
How much do you want to bet Albus
Santa is a wizard. Confirmed.
How much you want to bet Albus has eyes and ears in the Ministry? Because let's all be honest, during the First Wizarding War, you know the Ministry is keeping close tabs on who is attacked by Voldemort.
Duh!
So, that's how, besides the other reason that Tori's mentioning that we can't mention, it's like, that's probably the other reason why he found out.
Yeah. Other than that, I'm going to go with because, just because, we know that they were in hiding, and we know that Dumbledore helped them into hiding, and so he was probably keeping very, very, very close tabs.
Okay, yeah. But that leads to the question of, so you send Hagrid to go get Harry.
Yep.
Like you do.
Sirius, the person who we suspect is the traitor who sold the Potters out.
We assume.
That's what they're assuming at the time. Lends his flying motorbike to Hagrid to safely transport Harry. Not sure if that's very safe, but that is what he does. He loans.
Question though.
We
don't know that's Sirius's bike.
Yeah, first off, they don't disclose that's Sirius's bike until later. Secondly, we don't know the time frame in which Sirius Sirius lent his bike to Hagrid.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, if you want to go with the theory, that it happened right then, which we don't know because it's not confirmed. But if you want to go with the theory that it was right then, well, until you see the crime scene, there was no way to know for sure.
Well, we know it was Sirius' motorbike.
Yep.
Hagrid himself, at this point, has said that Sirius gave it to him so that he could go get Harry. He said that in the very first book.
Well, maybe... I don't know.
Now, yes, he did. Third book, we find out that everyone assumed that Sirius was the secret keeper, because who else would it have been? Right?
You know what? I'm gonna give a crumb of plausible wholesomeness to Hagrid here. Hagrid knows what it's like to be accused of something and everybody assume you're guilty without proper investigation. Hagrid, number one, I'm going to go on the limb here and say that even if Dumbledore thought it was Sirius, he probably didn't tell Hagrid because Hagrid would have killed him. Number two... Without the broken wand. Yeah, Hagrid would have strangled him. Number two, I'm going to go with that if Hagrid even had an inkling that something was wrong with Sirius, Hagrid strikes me as the person who he is going to give the umpteenth last chance. You are literally going to have to throw him in the jail cell yourself before he will turn on you. And even then he might turn on you because he might be like, well, they're having a bad day. Everyone has bad days. I have bad days. And we shouldn't be judged on our bad days.
But it's just like also, we find out that, Sirius Black has been accused of, being the traitor to lead Voldemort to the Potters. It's like Dumbledore may have known that Sirius was innocent. He just couldn't he doesn't have any evidence to the contrary that the Ministry already had. So it's just like... We don't
have that stuff that doesn't show up until the next book.
Yeah, we don't have the things that would make this whole thing easier.
So it's just like, he may have known that Sirius is innocent. That's why he just gave Hagrid the bike.
Also, alternative theory, he didn't give him the bike. He was running away from Hagrid and Hagrid took the bike. That is also a possibility because how tall is Hagrid? 8 feet?
About 9 feet tall.
9 foot tall, half giant was angry at me?
He's 8 feet on a bad day.
Yeah, but if he was angry at me because he thought I killed somebody he was really fond of, I would be hightailing. I would leave the bike Leave the bike. The bike's not important. Leave the bike.
I mean, he can transform into a wolf. He can just run away.
Dog.
Canine, same thing.
Now, going back. So, Sirius gives the bike to Hagrid of his own volition.
Mm-hmm.
We know this from the first book.
Yep.
Sure.
Hagrid uses it, goes, gets Harry, everything's fine. If Sirius were the traitor, which Dumbledore at this point either knows or at least suspects he was the traitor, then he would suspect that the motorbike would be rigged to detonate. Or why would he, who is a suspected Death Eater at this point, give a fully functioning motorbike to the side he just betrayed? It makes no sense.
It doesn't.
The fact that the motorbike is not tampered in any way is a sign that Sirius is not a traitor.
It is. I will give you that. I was about to tell you, I think you're focusing too much on a trivial thing of a motorbike.
Yeah.
That is what this whole thing is about.
But it's just like you're constantly going back to this whole motorbike thing.
Yeah, but now that you've said that, you've brought it all together to highlight that the fact that the motorbike was given to Hagrid and there was nothing wrong with the motorbike and it served him forever, that it shows that it can be used in the case that Sirius Black is innocent.
Yeah.
Although, once again, maybe he just didn't have time.
But again, even if it leads to the possibility that Sirius wasn't the traitor, it's not hard evidence against.
It will not hold up in court.
Yeah, especially against the Ministry.
Maybe not. But if Dumbledore thought that someone was innocent, he could hide him from the government for a while he collects actual evidence.
Albus is powerful, but he ain't that. He's not gonna be willing.
We have an invisibility cloak.
But he's not gonna go. He may play fast and loose with the Ministry's rules, but he's not gonna go out full out against the Ministry unless he absolutely has to. Yet. That's why I said unless he absolutely has to.
All right.
So it's just
anyway.
He's not gonna pretty much flat out be like, no, I'm gonna go against the Ministry for this guy.
Anyway, speaking of motors, this isn't a question. This is just a fun little thing.
No, he's like, speaking of motors, and I'm just like, what?
Where are you going with this?
I just feel it's important to remind everyone there's still a feral flying motor car in the woods. Meaning it's entirely possible that while Harry and Hermione were running for their lives from Remus, the Ford Eggley could have just come out of nowhere and crashed into him.
Or Aragon.
Fair point.
Yeah.
Fair point.
Point. I mean, to be fair, yeah, we don't really see the car after the second book.
Not true. We can't talk about it because it's not in this book.
Are you sure he shows up in that?
Wait. Never mind. Wait. Maybe. Yes. No. Maybe.
I don't think.
Let me think. Hold on. Thinking. Processing. I don't know.
Buffering.
Anyway.
Yes. No. Yes. No. Yes. No.
No.
But I'll be fashionably late.
All right. Moving on.
What is the deal with blood pops?
Oh my god, I can't. Okay. Explain your question so that I can properly explain why I'm frustrated with your question here.
Okay, in the books, we are mentioning blood pops, which are blood-flavored lollipops, which are a gag candy that Harry's friends are planning to get for him to try because he couldn't go to Hogsmeade.
Mm-hmm.
In the movie, this is specifically a movie theory. In the movie, Neville is outright enjoying a blood pop, which Invisible Harry steals from him, which is a jerk move.
Yep.
Harry, this is your friend.
But
and he steals it and enjoys the lollipop. Okay, so both Neville and Harry are enjoying blood-flavored lollipops. Vampires.
Okay. No, they are not vampires.
They are not vampires. I'm going to go with... Okay, so I got two things here. Number one, it's never stated in the book that Neville is enjoying a blood pop. You assume it's a blood pop because they joke about getting one for Harry, and then next time you see Neville in Hogsmeade, he is enjoying a red-colored lollipop. You assume it's a blood pop, but it could just as easily be something else. Number 2, they could be highly anemic. You don't know their medical history. We don't know what their iron count of the day is. 3, there are some people who enjoy the metallic-y, coppery taste of blood. Those people, I think, are weird, but you know what? It's not the weirdest thing that happens in Harry Potter.
Coppery?
Also...
Why wouldn't it taste like iron?
It's an iron-coppery combo thing.
Yeah. Also...
Fun fact, the taste of blood tastes different based on your levels of iron in your blood.
Also, you just said it's a gag, confectionery. It's not made with actual blood. It's made from ingredients that mimic the taste of blood because, same reason why Bertie Bott's every flavor of beans. The beans taste like soap, earwax, vomit. It's not actually made from actual vomit.
Alas. Earwax.
So it's just like, it's a gag. Yeah. It's funny.
I think you put too much focus on a theory about a lollipop. Yeah. I mean, if we're going to be talking about things in that scene, let's talk about the fact that, 1, that tunnel that comes up at the base of the candy shop, that was created by a student once upon a time.
Yeah.
That was created by a student. Number 2, the fact that just the sheer stupidity of the needing a parent's permission. Harry cannot be the only kid at Hogwarts who doesn't have parents or a legal guardian. Okay, case in point, well, we don't know that yet, so can't bring that one up. But
we will return to that topic.
We will return to that later. But, he can't be the only one without a legal guardian, okay? Kids end up in foster care. Kids end up in orphanages.
He does have a legal guardian. It's just the Dursleys didn't want to sign
Exactly. It. So I personally think that teacher, head of your house permission should get to trump there. And the fact that McGonagall's it can only be a parent or a guardian, since I am neither, it would be inappropriate. Excuse me, ma'am, you threaten to turn your students into a pocket watch and a map regularly. And you think this is inappropriate?
That was one time.
No, that's one time that we've seen her threaten Harry and Ron. I guarantee she does it at least once a year.
And she didn't threaten to turn them in. She offered to turn them into...
Although, let's all be honest, so she probably threatened worse with Neville.
Yeah.
Oh, we know she threatened worse with Harry's parents.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm just saying, her whole, it would be inappropriate, ma'am. Ma'am. No. You are Albus Dumbledore's best friend and confidant, and you are the head of Gryffindor House, and you have to put up with the Weasley twins on the regular. There is no appropriateness anymore. It's all...
She's already dealing with the Weasley twins, and she knows how chaotic Harry's dad and his friends were during their years. And Harry and Ron have already flown a car to the school. She's not risky.
So the fact that Harry comes and is they wouldn't sign it because they hate me, but couldn't you sign it? I'm asking for permission. He's trying to follow the rules. That should be rewarded. Or couldn't he get a staff supervisory visit? Where she goes with him and holds his hand?
Okay, moving on.
Okay. So Remus, we have this whole thing in Under the Whopping Willow, which is actually the Shrieking Shack, right?
Yep.
And it's nighttime.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Full moon.
Yep.
Remus isn't turning. Remus and company come out of the tunnel. Still nighttime. The moon is behind the clouds. Hasn't turned. Moon comes out from behind the clouds. Suddenly he's a werewolf. So, does the moonlight? Is that what causes it? Because if it's just the moonlight, you don't need the potion. Just get some blackout curtains, take some sleeping pills, and call it a night.
So, the potion you're referring to is the Wolfsbane potion, right?
Yes, which is brought up in this book.
What does it do?
It allows for a werewolf to keep control of their mental faculties while they are turned.
Okay, and we know that he forgot his potion that night because stuff was going down.
He was distracted.
He was a little busy trying to save his students.
And his best friend.
Mostly his students.
I think he was trying to do both, but anyway.
And possibly taunt Snape.
One last time.
And always an opportunity.
I mean, let's all be honest. If you had the opportunity to tease Snape, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I know it wasn't Remus who had the line, but when Snape is having his little tete-a-tete with Sirius, and they're just launching quips back and forth at each other, and Sirius just goes, "Why don't you run along and play with your chemistry set?" Mm-hmm. It's just like, okay, first off, rude. Second off, ouch. Third, at least he got a job.
Sirius had a job until he got arrested.
Really? So they never tell us.
I mean, I assume. But, okay,
but anyway.
But the question being is that, does the moonlight affect him, or does just the fact that the moon is full affect him, transforming him into a werewolf? That is kind of iffy, because it depends on what version of the mythology you're looking at. Because
you're talking about the Harry Potter mythology.
I'm talking about werewolves in general, because in the original movie that introduced the Wolfman, it's just the transformation of the full moon that transforms him into a werewolf, right? Mm-hmm. However, in other media, like 2004's Van Helsing, for example, which is a great movie, by the way, they can only transform when the moonlight touches them, at least for their first transformation. And then after that, it's they're werewolves all the time.
This is a problem when you incorporate into your story creatures whose origin lore has multiple input points.
So I think J.K. Rowling is trying to stay close to the original mythology via trying to do her own spin. But to answer your question, though, I do think, at least in this version, I think it is the moonlight.
I think it's the moonlight. One, because that's how it went with, but also it adds the cinematic flair for the movie.
Yeah.
And when they go into the Whomping Willow and go through the tunnel, which is underground, so you wouldn't see the change outside, and into the Shrieking Shack, which is inside, and all the windows are boarded up. So once again, you don't see the outside. When they started that journey there, it was still daylight. It was getting close to twilight, but it was still daylight out.
Yeah, it was like dusk.
And by the time they get back, we're at the very beginning of the evening. Like, yeah. It's not like it's midnight or something. Like, it's maybe what, like 8 o'clock, maybe?
Maybe 7, 8 o'clock, yeah.
Yeah, and so he didn't get his potion that he was supposed to take, which, that's on him, but he probably thought he'd have more time.
He's dealing with a lot of stress at the moment.
Yeah, which probably doesn't help. And then the transformation under the moon just adds to the cinematic trifecta there. But I think that it's, for the lore, it's got to be the moonlight, but it could also be that that's the first time that he's realized, like, that the wolf within, because they do talk about the madness within, and there's a lot of variations of werewolf stories where the wolf and the man are two separate entities, and
but they're fighting.
Fight for dominance.
It's basically kind of like Bruce Banner and the Hulk.
Yeah.
They inhabit the same body, but they're vying for control of that body.
And so that's like the first time that the wolf within is like, it's my time!
Yeah.
Ta-da!
And also, it's just like, again, that could be the first time that he actually let the wolf out, since he probably got initially transformed by Fenrir.
No, we know he transformed when he was at school, because he's why the shack is the Shrieking Shack.
Okay, but like, since
it's probably the first time in a long time he's been without his potion.
He probably has not been transforming while he has been a professor.
Yes.
Because that is not safe.
Yeah, and also, like Tori said earlier, it's just like we don't know what the other side effects of being a werewolf are for Lupin. He could have another voice in his head telling him to kill your students, eat that deer,
That student just insulted you. Tear their arms off.
So it's just like, it could
just be... suddenly...
And why is it in my mind as soon as I said that, I was like, Malfoy.
Yeah. But it's just like, it could be like the Wolfsbane potion kind of acts like an antidepressant for werewolves, where it's just like, it kind of
turns off the voices in their head.
It blocks the werewolf enzyme.
Okay, now I'm picturing a alternate writing where Remus was introduced in Chamber of Secrets, and so Harry is hearing these voices of kill, rip, tear, and he's saying this, and Reeves like,
You hear him too?
Is he a werewolf? When did this happen?
When did he get in?
Yeah.
I didn't bite him.
Dumbledore! He's a werewolf and you didn't tell me?
I didn't bite. Did you bite?
Yeah.
I didn't do that.
So,
But I think that would have been a really good thing if he had been introduced there, because the thing with Remus when we first meet him is, and throughout his story for the remainder of his time in the series, he has a very calming presence, and he has the ability to talk not just to Harry but to anybody.
Yeah.
And level with them on their worst day ever. I mean, he gets his worst day ever once a month.
Yeah.
And so it's like, having a student who, like, so if we had him in Chamber of Secrets.
When
having
a whole bunch of students are getting petrified and everyone else is worried they're going to be next.
Yeah, and everyone's on edge and everyone thinks it's Harry. The two people that Harry could have been talking to that would have the two people who were the best people for him to have been talking to in Chamber of Secrets would have been Hagrid and Remus, because they both experienced that stuff.
Well, Hagrid was taken away by the Ministry.
Yes, because it would have just been too helpful if we could have talked to Hagrid.
Yeah, but yeah, and Remus definitely seems to be like, he acts like, I know that we learned that Sirius is Harry's godfather in this book, but it's just like Remus could have also been, he acts like a loving uncle would be.
Oh, he is definitely loving uncle.
Yeah.
Shout out to the story that we never got. We don't need a retelling of Fantastic Beasts. We don't need The Cursed Child. We don't need a repeat of Harry Potter. We need a Marauder story. Get on that. No one asked for The Cursed Child.
Also, there are this segues great into the Shrieking Shack question.
Okay.
So we're introduced to the Shrieking Shack when Harry first goes to Hogsmeade. He's like, oh, it's over there. It's creepy. No one goes over there.
It's supposed to be the most haunted building in all of Britain.
Excuse you. Have you not looked around Hogwarts? There are so many dead people in this castle. Most of them are students.
And most of them are not screaming.
And you're like, we can't go there. It's more haunted than Hogwarts. Okay, so is that a problem?
It's the lore. It's the legend, because nobody knew why the Shrieking Shack shrieked.
Yeah.
And it doesn't do it all the time. It only did it for a few years in the, in the late 70s, early 80s. It only did it for a few years, and only once a month.
Weird timing.
It just happened to coincide with the time that the Marauders were at school. No one puts two and two. Seriously, lazy writing. But I'm going to interject here, though. Something I do like about this book and with Remus and the relationship that we build with Remus. It is through Remus that Harry gets to know his mother. Everyone talks about James. Dumbledore, Hagrid, Snape, Sirius. Even his parent, or not his parents, but even the Dursleys talk about James Potter more than
that weird Potter.
Yeah, they talk about James all the time, but no one's talking about Lily.
Yeah.
Except Remus. And essentially, Remus introduces Harry to his mother. Because he tells him all these wonderful stories about her, what a helpful and kind person she was. Hagrid has given him the pictures, but Remus fills in the story.
Yeah.
And I think that's a really good fact about Remus that is often overlooked, is that, he learns about his father from everybody. Sirius the most. But only one person at this time. There's one other person,
later
technically
on.
two, but there is really only one person at this point who teaches Harry about his mother, who is just as important.
Yeah. All right.
This book is also where we really get to see the incompetence of the Ministry. Because...
You mean this one?
Okay.
This one is the one where we really see the incompetence of the Ministry?
Well, it's really...
Do you mean for the first time?
For the first time.
Okay.
It's like, we could have assumed the Ministry has always been incompetent, but we never got to see it until this one. Because in this one, we see that... So, Sirius Black escaped Azkaban, where the Dementors are holed up in their highest number, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which, escaping. Good job. Very difficult to do. So, why on earth did anyone in the Ministry think that sending a smaller contingency of Dementors to Hogwarts would stop Sirius from breaking in when he'd already broken out of Azkaban, where they are the most numerous?
It's probably
Isn't it ironic?
more for the parents' comfort.
Yes, I know if I had a kid, I would love for them to go to school with soul-sucking demons everywhere.
I feel like there's a very easy joke there to make about public education.
Even though technically Hogwarts is more like a private school.
But still, I mean, it's right there. The joke is right there.
Yeah, but...
Is it a private school? Because I feel like everyone who lives in magical Britain just automatically goes there.
Not everyone.
We don't know that everyone in magical Britain goes to Hogwarts.
Argus Filch was never invited to attend.
He's not a wizard.
He's a squib.
He's a squib, which is something we learned about in this book. He has the potential, he just can't do it.
Yep.
And notice how quiet he gets.
Okay, next question.
Okay.
Snape outed Lupin as a werewolf, and instead of Lupin staying on, he decides to quit before he gets howlers from parents because...
Have you ever dealt with an angry parent? Without it being one of our parents?
Yeah, they're not fun.
But is the best teacher for defense they've had in the past 3 years? Oh, he nearly killed a couple students. If we cared about the safety of our students, there wouldn't be Dementors outside. If we cared, we would have sent people. We wouldn't have hired Lockhart last year. We have hired someone who could actually do the job.
Fair enough.
But Harry and his friends have nearly died every year since they've started Hogwarts. If safety was really an issue, this place would have been audited heavily before now.
Although, do you think that maybe it wasn't, the school's decision to send away, that it was his own decision to do that?
I think it was his own decision, and I also, this is the thing, in a lot of different stories about werewolves, especially werewolves who try to live more normal, not wolf-positive lives. We're not talking about, like, Enid's family from Wednesday here, where they're obviously a pack. We're talking about werewolf stories where the person tries to split their life between being normal and being a werewolf.
Like the Wolfman or the character from Being Human.
Yeah, there is wolf guilt. He feels guilty about what happened. And I think that it is that wolf guilt where he's like, everyone's going to be mad at me. I put students in danger for the sake of my friend, which when that gets out, that's going to be a whole nother issue. Yeah. So I think it's more that, like, he's beating himself up more than he should be. Because I don't think Dumbledore wanted him to leave. Like, Dumbledore didn't ask him to leave.
I have a good teacher for once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He didn't even try to kill Harry of his own volition.
Yeah, the teachers were probably like, please stay.
Yeah, but I do agree with you that it's probably that werewolf guilt. And also it's just like, like we said, it's probably been a long time since he actually fully let the wolf out, and he let it happen not only in front of his friend, but also his best friend's kid.
Yeah.
And it's just like, if he even had if he had even just the possibility of hurting James's son, which he considers his own son, I don't think Remus would ever forgive himself.
He probably promised himself, like, years ago when Harry was born, that he would never wolf out around Harry.
Yeah. Although, how awesome would it be if, like, he was able to control the wolf and basically, like, have a werewolf guardian for Harry as a baby?
I mean, the potion doesn't stop the transformation. He still transforms, but he keeps his mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So essentially, you could have had that.
Yeah, but it's like...
I imagine that would have been the only time Lily and James went on date night, when Harry was a baby.
Yeah.
Sirius and Remus are babysitting.
We got two canines in guarding our son. I think he's safe.
Now, granted, Remus would have hated this to have happened, but imagine if Remus had bitten Harry.
He would never have forgiven himself.
He would not. But that changes Harry's life greatly. And it changes the way the Ministry views werewolves, because now the Golden Boy is a werewolf.
Yeah, they
also,
see werewolves as second-class citizens.
Harry can't be sent back to the Dursleys. A werewolf can't live with muggles. It's not safe.
Oh no.
So,
oh, no, what a shame.
There'd be one way to guarantee he'd never have to see the Dursleys.
But then where would he go?
Yeah. You'd have to go with,
We saw his bank vault. Yeah. He could buy a place.
He could buy a guardian.
Yeah.
And that is if he just wanted to live by himself. You don't think Molly already is like, hey,
he's coming home with me. Mine.
Yeah.
She collects kids.
Okay.
She's like Batman.
This is going to be the last thing because we're getting
close on time. So last one.
Last one.
This one is a bit of a question, but explaining a theory I heard. So the Marauders map shows everyone at Hogwarts
Who they
by
are.
name.
Minute of every day. Brilliant.
Why didn't Fred or George notice there's some weird guy named Peter who just is in the Gryffindor common room somewhere, and we've never seen this kid. We thought he was in Percy's year, but then Percy graduated, and where is he?
Percy hasn't graduated. Percy is still around this year. He's head boy.
We've looked at every single year. We can't find this Peter kid anywhere.
I'm going to go with the most obvious answer that is family friendly, which is they think it's probably a glitch on the map. Because they don't know that the map never lies.
But also, like, it's like, now granted, houses are relatively small in terms of class size or whatever, because I had over 400 kids in my graduating high school class. So, but it's just like...
These are the kids after a war, but
population kind of... My point being, though, is that, like, are you really going to know every single kid in your house, regardless of what year they are?
I mean, they could.
I mean, Fred and George, definitely, because the Gryffindors are the people who buy most of their stuff.
But I'm going to go with that they probably think, either they could think that it's a glitch on the map, or maybe a ghost or a poltergeist that's not comfortable being seen. Because it does show the ghosts.
That is true.
And it doesn't, from what we know about the map, it doesn't indicate,
ghosts
alive or dead.
Yeah.
I believe ghosts appear differently, but I don't know that.
But they might think that there's some, because it only shows Hogwarts. So it's not like they're seeing Peter show up at their own house.
Yeah.
So they're like, they only ever see Peter's name when they're at school using the map.
Yeah.
And so maybe it's a spirit of a kid, maybe it's a creature of some kind, maybe it's a glitch.
Maybe it's a new night guard or something.
So I'm gonna go with that the twins probably thought it was a glitch of some kind and just never pressed further.
Although
there is a not so family friendly answer, but that is not to be talked about on this episode.
There is also the possibility that they did ask their head of house, McGonagall, hey, is there a Peter Pettigrew in our house, where did you hear that name?
But also,
Why?
but then again, like, they may have seen him on the map, and maybe it was
And
glitched,
then
but
suddenly
it's just like,
Minerva
But you're also
believes that there's a ghost of Peter.
But you're
But
also
Castle.
but also it's just like, unless you're actually looking for it, you're not going to see it.
yeah, because there's a lot of kids on that map. Also, aside from trying to avoid their brother Percy when he is the prefect and then head boy,
And also avoiding Snape.
and avoiding Snape. And let's be honest, that rat isn't going anywhere near Snape.
Nope.
Why would Fred and George care about where their brothers are on the map?
Yeah, that's why I was saying.
They use the map to do their mischief. So other than staying away from Percy, which at this time the rat has already been passed to Ron, they're probably not checking too closely on their brother.
Yeah.
After the first 2 years, they probably glance.
Well, especially after the first year 2, Ron's second year, they're probably like, is he alive? It looks like he's alive.
He's with some kid named Peter.
Okay, Peter sounds like a normal kid.
Yeah, it's just like, again, unless you're
Do
actually.
we know Peter?
Nah.
I think so.
Yeah. All right.
He's the blonde-haired kid, right?
All right. Well, that wraps it up. With what? We have crossed the 1 hour line.
Well, the theory I was going to share.
Okay, share the theory, then we'll outro.
Okay, the theory that I have is there's theory that only the Marauders can see the other Marauders on the map when they are in animal form. Evidence to support this is that the only time we've seen Peter on the map is Harry, only in the movie, but Lupin sees it in both the movie and the book. And Lupin, who is a Marauder, would be cued in to say, oh, there's another Marauder. And we do know the map is cheeky when it comes to information. It keeps secrets from people it doesn't want knowing, such as when Snape tried to find out what's inside, and every single one...
And request that he keeps abnormally large notes out of other people's business.
Which is also probably how the Weasley twins found out the passphrase. Once the map knew, oh, these are Marauders 2.0.
Yeah.
Okay, here's
like
the password.
like attracts like.
Anyway.
I almost feel bad that like Fred and George didn't have 2 other friends with them and like were their own generational Marauders, but I digress. Anywho, well, thank you for joining us on our 3rd episode of Fandom Forensics.
Yep.
Got pretty long here.
Hopefully you enjoyed the ranting and raving as much as we did. Join us next time for our next episode of What is Going Wrong versus What is Going Right at Disney Hollywood Studios Edition.
MGM Studios.
Yeah, MGM Studios, for those of us who know.
The OGs.
If you know, you know.
But yeah, we will be diving into what went right, what went wrong, and what can be improved.
What they should be doing.
At Hollywood Studios.
And as always, the very first thing is going to be lower the ticket prices.
Yep. All right, well, we'll catch you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.